We are just over halfway through my first term of my final year during a global pandemic. So that's interesting. And a lot of things have changed. So let's talk about it. Hello. As you can see, I'm not in college this year. So that's already a change. This year, Cambridge decided to move basically everything online. So it was kind of announced scandalously that all of our lectures were going to be online for this year. I know it sounds weird, why is that a scandal? It's just because it was revealed in like a student newspaper before we were told about it by our actual lecturers. Someone leaked the information. Imagine leaking information about lectures being all online, how riveting. But it was kind of important. So that's when we found out everything was gonna change, and everything has changed. So they wanted to have at least some in-person stuff, like our supervisions, small group teachings, and I'm doing a dissertation this year and you have seminar sessions for that, so they wanted those to be able to be in person. And at first that's what we were going to do, and only go online if somebody was self-isolating or for some other reason couldn't make it. But then most of mine had to be online because people were self-isolating, and then faculty changed their guidance for teaching. So they decided to online still, and then lockdown 2 happened, so we decided basically it's just going to be online. And lockdown 2 ends literally when term ends, so that's nice and fun, isn't it? I spent a lot of my term staring at my screen, which feels very similar to my lockdown term. The only difference is I'm not at home. Even though I'm not staying in college accommodation, I didn't want to be at home for when term kind of had in-person elements. I wanted to play sports again this year, so I rejoined the Cambridge basketball team, and we had training in person when sports was exempt from COVID, but of course now it's not. And it was actually quite nice to do that in a COVID safe environment, and because of COVID we had to stop every 20 minutes and like sanitize our hands, so at least we had quite regular breaks, which is nice for me and my lack of cardiovascular fitness. And even though I am living out, I still was able to visit college. I had to get myself a new bike because my bike was stolen, which I'm still not over. That bike was, that scared me. The shadow looked like somebody was in the side. There's no one here but me. Anyway, that bike was literally a dream. But I have a new bike. It's a hot pink bike. I just seem to have a way of finding really bright bikes, but they're also the cheapest, so we're gonna keep doing what works. And because of that, I can cycle into college, not often, but cheaply, as in basically for free, and see my friends and study in the law library together, go on walks together, and still get some sort of normal life. Well, before lockdown 2 happened, that's kind of what was happening. And it really helped. It helped with the mental, to not be cooped up inside and to just be all consumed with work. I mean, that definitely wasn't happening anyway because I like to procrastinate, so I was always gonna find ways to do that. But I think it's also important. It's important that you don't spend your every waking hour thinking that you have to work, especially now that everything's from home. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I found my own ways of doing that, so like I've been trying to go on walks every day. That was before I twisted my ankle or did something to my ankle at basketball training, which basically meant that I had to stop. I couldn't walk for a week basically, and it's still kind of sore now, but I can do more, so we've got that. And I also made time to see friends and family. If there's anything this entire situation has taught us, is that time with them is invaluable. And anything that I've learned over my past 3 years is that the work will get done within the time that it needs to get done by. And even though that's not necessarily like a good way of looking at things, there's always time to work. There's always going to be time to do the work. And if not, if you really need it, you can ask for an extension. There's not always going to be time to see friends. especially not in person, or see family. That's what I make time for, and it really helps. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to travel because I get so used to staying at home, but then when I go I feel revitalized and it's like all worth it. And I'm also trying to do things away from well, before lockdown 2 I was trying to do things away from technology. I really enjoyed like putting up my pictures. I experimented with a different like layout this year. I put up my fairy lights using decorative light command hooks, like specifically for decorating lights. I have a full kitchen, so I can actually like bake and cook good food and like really get in my like homey element, and that's been making me happy. I also had a goal to read a lot more this year. That hasn't necessarily happened, but I have brought some books with me, so it could happen. I even got into this uni vibe of getting plants, and this is a very pretty plant pot. Look how pretty this plant pot is, please. It was more than it should ever have been for a pot this size, but it's really pretty. And also, I've learned to be less hard on myself. Even if my motivation dips, even if I don't do everything and I feel like I should be doing everything because I have all of the time in the world, no, you still are human. The world isn't functioning the way that we're used to at all, and you're still processing your emotions, and that's allowed. And also just give your brain a break. So last weekend I played The Sims, and that worked well for me. In terms of trying to be healthy, I decided to get myself a basketball, and I found a court near me that I can play at, or at least just get outside, and I always feel better for it when I do, because then at least I know that I've achieved the one thing in the day, and it's my health. Going outside, doing some kind of fitness activity, and your health is always important, mental and physical. So basically, this term has been about taking your wins where you can get them. And I think I'm getting there. What's next on my channel? Obviously, before I filmed a lot of my day-to-day activities while I was at university, and right now my to-do list is looking pretty dry. I'm inside all the time, so a vlog of what I do in a week would literally just be me sitting at a table on my laptop typing, which is so riveting to you guys. So that won't be happening. But of course, as we all have identified at this point, I upload content quite late. So I still have a lot of my old vlogs from the end of first year and from second year. Even though they're late, I'm gonna upload them anyway. Especially now, because it gives me pre-COVID memories to look back to and just reminisce on how things used to be. And for those of you who are starting at Cambridge later, it gives you a sense of more of the things that you could do. So there's a van pulling up outside, and it is quite distracting. But other than my vlog, my old vlog content, I'll probably try and upload some law insights and some interview help as well. But it's me, so we'll see what happens. And that's basically me this term. One last update, I got myself an iPad because I'm slowly converted to the Apple lifestyle. It's a shocker because I was so pro Android before, trust me. But I'm really enjoying having 2 screens to do work on now because, again, everything is online, and having to cram 2 Word documents and an MS Teams screen and also the lecture recording with the subtitles and the handout, it's messy, and we don't like mess. But yeah, that's pretty much me for this term, and a lot of uni students during this time. Anyway guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!